little history on me. A lot of you know me, but some of you don't. I started a little blog called PCB Daily several years ago, back in '06, talking about real estate growth and tourism. I sold it in 2010 and trying to reinvent myself because I really had no idea what I was doing with my life. Then I went and worked for the company that bought it from me, and I ran it for them for a while. And then I decided I didn't want to work for anybody anymore because, not mentioning any names, but they kind of drove me crazy. And so I started a little vacation rental company, and we've exploded. We now have 75 properties between Panama City Beach and 30A, and I'm doing really well. We're really happy, and everything's fun. But what I wanted to talk about is email marketing. Who here has an email address? I have like 18, so I could put all my toes up. Who here gets email on a daily basis? Who here reads your emails that come into your inbox? Sometimes, depends. I filter them by subject line. If I'm not interested, I don't open it. Who here reads marketing emails that come in from like Amazon or Apple or like whoever? Sometimes I do. It depends on the subject line. But the reality of it is, if you're looking for something and somebody sends you an email about what you're looking for, you probably pay attention to it. And you might open the email and you might actually buy something off of it. Part of what we do with PCB Daily, part of what I did with PCB Daily, I grew PCB Daily basically from email. And I had a few people that were interested in it in the beginning. And I started sending people email newsletters on a weekly basis and driving them to the website. And all of a sudden, within a few months, I started having all this like great traffic and people showing up and commenting and interacting with us. So tonight I'm just going to go over a couple of things with you guys. And I'm going to talk about 3 really important parts to email marketing. And the first one is collecting the email addresses. The second one is sending stuff to them. And then the third one is interacting with them. So I grew PCB Daily through email marketing. It was a phenomenal thing. And I did a compilation of doing like newsletter, like actually like real fancy looking newsletters, to doing personal emails that said, "Hey John, just want to let you know of something that we just published on the website, thought you might be interested in it, click on the link here to read." And people would get those emails and it felt like I was sending an email directly to them. And so they'd open it up and they'd read it. My readership rates and open rates on those types of emails and click-through rates were way higher than like the regular newsletters. But part of what we do now with our property management company is we'll send out email newsletters on a regular basis, and then we also send out periodic emails on like last-minute deals. So first off, I wanted to talk about collecting though. All of our stuff comes in through, we list most of our properties on VRBO. Has anybody ever rented through VRBO before when they travel? That's pretty much the only way I rent, because I can read reviews and I can usually negotiate with the owner or with somebody that is willing to negotiate with me, whereas going through like a regular company and they're like $500 a night, no negotiation. I'm like, forget that, I'm going to go someplace else. But all these inquiries that come in, since they're soliciting information, I have a right to email them back information. And so all of those email addresses go into a database that I then send them email marketing communications in the future. And so I have a system in place that collects all those email addresses. One of the things, I used to do consulting, email marketing and social media and regular marketing consulting and stuff. But one of the things that I used to tell people, like particularly like in the retail business, or if you have like a brick and mortar type store, you have foot traffic that are, people that are coming through and interacting with you at all times. And like Pizza by the Sea over in 30A, we go there all the time, and they had a little email newsletter subscription thing, just sign up. And they say sign up for periodic deals or whatever. So I signed up, and they send me emails all the time. And we get coupons and all that fun stuff. If you have, I want to put my shades on because that light is so bright. I can't see anything. But if you have like a retail outlet, like a brick and mortar type business, find a way to collect email addresses. It can literally be as simple as just having like a little placard up there that says sign up for our email newsletter and get discounts and free giveaways and like all this whatever. And they'll they'll put their email address up on there, and then you'll have, just at the end of the day, have one of your staff going in there and putting that into an Excel spreadsheet and importing it into MailChimp or Constant Contact or some email marketing service provider that you use. If you don't have a brick and mortar type business and it's like an online thing, even easier, because you can have something up there all the time that says sign up for our email newsletter. for us, we have a little thing on our website, and we get 5 or 6 people signing up a week, but we have hundreds of people kind of signing up through the inquiries that they have that comes through our system. So collecting the email addresses is probably one of the most important things, and that's the thing that you should be thinking about all the time. It's the thing you should be doing all the time. Being in the financial business, you're talking to people all the time. You have their email address, and it's easy for you to just go ahead and start sending stuff out to them all the time. I get financial newsletters from people like, Jim Cramer sends me crap all the time. It's crazy. Sometimes his stuff's a little too aggressive, but he's an aggressive guy. And so collecting is the thing you should be thinking about. Set up systems to where you're collecting these things without necessarily having to think about it. That's where you really want to be trying to think about. The next thing is you actually have to send stuff to these people to get them to interact with you. And collecting the email addresses is one thing, but you got to actually send stuff to them. And so devise a way to be able to do this. There's a lot of systems out there that are very simple to use. Constant Contact is the one I started out with years ago. Actually, I started doing it like kind of in my basement, on this like little program on a PC that ran all night long. It was crazy. And then they came out with these fancy cool systems called Constant Contact or MailChimp that do a lot of this stuff for you. Constant Contact is one system. Don't really like it. It works really well, but I happen to like MailChimp, and I've met a lot of the people that run it. It's MailChimp, like the chimpanzee, MailChimp. And it's MailChimp.com. I really like them. Their user interface is great. They've got a lot of really great newsletter templates that are very well designed and very easy to use. And they do have great customer service. They're an Atlanta tech company. And oh yeah, they're all in Atlanta. And they're a bunch of young people that are really savvy and smart, smarter than me. But that's who I use. But this isn't a MailChimp commercial. But they. Oh, and if you go to my website and you click on the link, I can just, no, I'm just kidding. But they handle all the unsubscribes, and they even handle subscribes. You can go in there, they'll give you a little form you can put on your website, just a little, simple copy and paste code, and you can do that. But you have to send them emails. So one of the things, like what I was about to say a second ago is like, for instance, this morning, one of our properties, I've logged into our reservation system and found out for some reason we didn't have final payment on somebody who's checking in this weekend, which we never do that. It's always payment in full 31 days prior to arrival. But there was another story. But anyway, I texted the lady and I said, hey, we're canceling it. You're coming in like 3 days. I got to see if I can get some money out of this place. It's a really beautiful condo, and we're coming up on the 2 busiest weeks of the year. And so we canceled our reservation, and then that developed into some other drama that I have to talk about later. But she wasn't very happy. But we sent out an email on that property and another property, and we were just, I put in the subject line, hey, insert first name, puts in the first name from the database thing, so it says, hey, John. And then in the email, in the subject line, I said 40% off beach rental, Gulffront beach rental. So it captures their attention, right? If they're looking for a property, they're going to see that, and it'll perk their ears, and they'll open it up. And then I just had a couple of really beautiful pictures and just said, hey, wanted to let you know, these properties are normally $3,500 for the week, but we're getting rid of them at $2,000. That includes all taxes, fees, and everything. Here's a link to book online, or you can call us or send an email back. And through doing that, we ended up having, I don't even know how many page views, I didn't look. We had 45 email responses back within 4 hours of sending that email. People hit reply and said, hey, what about this date? Hey, what about this date? Or what about this price? Or like whatever, had these interactions. And then I looked at our chat requests. We had over 100 chat requests today. We have live chat on our website, which is huge. That's probably another talk. I didn't think about that. That'd be a good one for you guys. It's cheap, too. Super awesome. And you can do it from your phone and everything. You guys might want to think about that for your website. So we had a lot of page views, had a lot of chat requests, and we ended up booking one of the condos. The other one got some good irons in the fire with that. And we had interaction. The phone rang off the hook on it. And that one was an interesting email because it was very, very specific on a particular date. Some days, like last week, I did an email, just sent a basic email out saying, hey, we had some open weeks in April for some of our properties, and we had over 150 email responses back that day. And it's really funny because my employees, they joke with me and they go, when I tell them I'm sending out an email, they all kind of like sigh and like, they're all like, they're happy to have the business, don't get me wrong, but it's like it always floods everybody with work, and they're busier than they want to be. So that's always fun. The last part is interaction. I can't tell you how many times I'll get an email newsletter from somebody, and I'll hit reply and realize that their email address is do-not-reply@whatever.com. And I'm like, really? I can interact with you very quickly right now if you just like would have an email address that you monitor. It's not that complex. You could have it forward if you're a big company. You can have it forwarded just support requests. You know, and so, but especially for the small business, it's absolutely essential on these types of emails that you send out, monitoring the email address that they're going out to, because so many people, especially when you do the personalized styled emails, they'll hit reply and they'll expect an answer because they're thinking they're emailing directly with me or with, you know, one of my staff members. And so we created our whole system to, you know, we're all checking these emails. We use an email type checking system called IMAP. They have POP3, I think, and IMAP. IMAP allows them to all sync across the server. So if I read the message, it syncs on the server and everybody else sees the message that's checking that email address is being read. That's a whole nother talk as well. I could go on about email. Email is very important. We all get email. But you got to interact with the people that email you back. It's very important. And you have to have nice, professional, courteous type language. I don't know. That's really all I have. Email is a really, really broad. Sibo, I didn't even see you back there. This light is blinding. What? Yes.
As far as databases go, do you think that email database is more important than, say, a Facebook page?
Do I think an email database is more important than a Facebook page? Than a Facebook database?
Meaning Facebook as a database, using Facebook to engage and interact, opposed to email.
I don't think one is more important than the other. They're two different. I don't think you can, you're not comparing apples to apples there. The difference between having an email marketing database is you have a direct line of communication with somebody. I think it can be a more powerful tool, but Facebook is essential because you have the opportunity to engage people in a social environment, and people have an opportunity to engage with you. I'm not the social media guy anymore, though. You're more the social media guy, but I think email marketing is absolutely essential.
Well, I'm only asking because, as far as engagement goes, the social platform, Facebook is not typically meant to sell, whereas email may be. That's one of the thoughts.
I think email is a direct sales tool. I use email as a direct sales tool all the time. It's interesting, being in the property management business, I tell people I'm in sales because my job is, actually I have two clients that I'm selling to. I'm selling to owner clients, and that's my big one. I'm having to sell to owner clients that own choice properties on the beach on why our company is amazing. I have to talk them into allowing me to manage their property, and they're trusting me. Some of these guys, they make $150,000 a year. They're trusting me with all this money. So I have to convince them on why I'm a trustworthy person to, you know, or our company is a trustworthy company to handle that. But then on the flip side, I have to sell guests on why they're coming, you know, coming to stay with us. So it's funny. But email, I use that. I mean, on the owner side and on the sales side, on the rental side, it's absolutely essential. Any other questions?